Okay, after you guys have harassed me nonstop, I binge watched the first season of Invincible, and I'm glad you guys harassed me nonstop because it was excellent. If you haven't seen it, it's an animated show, it's a cartoon, but it's very R-rated, so if you're gonna watch it, probably don't watch it with kids. It's about a world with superheroes, and it's insanely good, so go watch it. Each episode is like 40 to 45 minutes, and there's only 8 episodes in the first season, so it's doable, like, in a day. It took me 2 days, but you could do it in a day. I believe in you. If you stay past the cutie roaring dinosaur, I'm gonna talk spoilers for this show. So if you haven't seen it, stop this video, go watch it, and just don't ever come back. This is a scary place. So I'm generally not for shows about teens and them finding their place. I've never liked teens, even when I was a teenager. It's probably not a surprise. And I absolutely love that this channel, the majority of people, are 20 years and up. There's a small fraction that is below and are actually teenagers. And I say unto you, please get the fuck out. I'm not a role model. You shouldn't be watching me. No one should. But especially not you. Not until your brain's fully formed and you can completely realize. Now, saying the show was excellent, it was really good, but I wouldn't say it's like the best show ever. I know people are just raving about how like this is the best, blah, 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 blah. I get it, it was really good, but I wouldn't say it was so amazing I just lost my mind. Like, it's not a 10 out of 10 show. I wouldn't even say a 9 out of 10 show. Maybe like an 8 out of 10 show, 7.5 out of 10 show. It's really good, but like not the bonkers amazing that people were screaming about. I think one of the best things to come out of this show are the Think Mark Think memes that have been all over the internet. Amber kind of sucks. I really didn't like her and her attitude. I get she's a teenager and the whole like bitchy hot thing is totally in at that stage and through most of 20s for a lot of people, but I just so condescending. And the fact that she knew his secret identity and was upset that he didn't share, but then she was also lying about not knowing about it, and I don't know. And then the final straw was when, after she saw that Mark's dad had been lying to him, she goes to his house to be with him again and goes, oh, it looks like I wasn't the only one lied to. Like, hi, you two are not on the same level. He lied to you about his secret identity. Mark's dad lied to him about his entire life. His entire life is a lie. There's no similarity. You need to sit your ass down. Mark, you need to get with the redhead. Amber's a basic bitch. Redheads are psychos, and, you know, maybe you'll be missing a few limbs afterwards, but it's worth it. I'd say it's worth it. Don't ask any of my ex-boyfriends or girlfriends. When Omni-Man, Nolan, takes out which is basically the Justice League in their world, my God, it was so grotesque. It was so brutal. I was losing my mind watching it. It's been a while since I've had to pause something and go, maybe that was a bit too violent for me. And then, of course, I rewound it like by 10 seconds and then watched it again. But, you know, I'm just a little freak. Like, just the absolute savagery by Omni-Man was so intense. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be totally off base with this. Was Nolan hoping that his son wouldn't develop superpowers because he had grown attached to his son and his wife, and he was hoping, okay, I can just have a normal human lifespan with them, and then when they pass, maybe then I try again with another woman, that kid has superpowers, and then I begin conquering Earth, because, you know, he's been alive for a couple thousand years, and he's gonna live probably for an extra couple thousand years after that. So it doesn't really matter if it takes another generation or two for him to begin taking over. But as soon as Mark got powers, he was like, shit, okay, the ruse is up, I gotta start training him to do this. Or was he just turning super aggressive because he switched and he realized, okay, now the real work has to begin. I can turn off this persona and now I can become the big, tough world conqueror dude. Also, and I would love your explanation of this, why didn't he train Mark to be a bit more brutal? I feel like Mark was really coddled and taught like all these ethics and everything. And if his dad was hoping, or there was a possibility of him getting powers and Mark having to help him conquer Earth, why wouldn't he prepare him a little bit better? I know he couldn't train him before he got his powers, but like emotionally, mentally, I don't know. It's like he would lay a little bit better of groundwork. I didn't quite understand that, which led me to believing it was more so he was hoping that Mark would never get powers and he wouldn't have to go through this whole thing. Man, imagine hearing your husband say that you were a pet to them. Well, a pet, you fucked. Kind of weird. Well, I guess if there was creatures that looked like me and had a high IQ, similar to me, not saying I have a high IQ, but, you know, more intelligence than what we see in most animals, and they could consent and stuff, but I lived vast amounts, like, think about elves blinking humans. I don't know, elves usually, in fiction, I know they're not real. If an elf is a couple thousand years old, they generally look down on humans as children, and when you see a relationship between two, it's kind of like, kind of weird. I don't 100% believe him, to be honest, that that's all he viewed it as, especially when he was beating the shit out of Mark and trying to convince him, hey, you need to do this, you need to join me. And then he asks, you know, in 500 years, what will you have? And Mark barely manages to say, you, Dad. And then he takes off from the planet and you see tears. So I think he really does love Mark and he really does love his wife and he's sad what he had to do. But he also had thousands of years of programming that is probably very hard to get past. Speaking of Nolan beating the shit out of his son, that was insanely brutal, especially the part where he takes his face and shoves it through the train and uses his body to just start murdering all the people that Mark wanted to save. I don't know how, if his dad ever comes back, how you get past that. How you go, okay, Dad, I know you used my body and forced me to, like, go through a bunch of humans and eviscerate them, but, like, can we go out and throw a ball or something? You want to go to dinner? You want to have a beer? I honestly just don't know in what world you can possibly move forward with someone that did that to you. I get pissed at people when I figure out they've been talking mad shit behind my back and I no longer want to see them. So if someone forced me to murder a bunch of people and I watched them murder a bunch of people, I'd probably have a hard time wanting to be bros with them. I don't want to be crude here, and I'm really trying not to. And I know there are a lot of people that get upset when I make any sexual type jokes because I'm not a man, so I'm not allowed to do it. But you gotta think the sex between Nolan and Debbie had to be amazing. Imagine having sex with the most powerful man on Earth and his crazy endurance. Like, damn, son. The voice actors in this were absolutely amazing, and I love that the tailor was voiced by Mark Hamill. There's something about Mark Hamill's voice that it doesn't matter what character he's voicing, I have to love it, even if it's like a homicidal clown. I was scared shitless that Nolan was going to kill him, and when they were having the beers and talking, I'm like, please, God, please don't let Nolan just reach his hand like through his heart or through his stomach and pull out his innards. Just don't. I really don't like Rexplosion. I don't like Duplicate. I'm really not a fan of any of that team. Robot was kind of cute. I honestly thought he was up to something super shady, but it was kind of cute that he was getting a body so he could be with Monster Girl because he was so in love with her. A little bit adorable, but overall that team kind of just... I was hoping for them to be massacred. Was Robot's little thing in the back supposed to look like a top knot? Because it's the only thing I could think of that he was a hipster robot. And I kept staring at it and I felt bad, but I just kept trying to figure out, is that like an antenna or is it a top knot? And he's like a super stylish robot. Adam Eve, is wonderful. More redheads. We absolutely need it. Stop erasing redheads. We know why you're doing it. We're soulless monsters, but we still deserve a little bit of representation. Her powers are pretty much OP. Like, I feel like she is way too strong. I understand the difference of her going up against Omni-Man wouldn't work because she's not as fast as he is. So I think what makes her not a god tier level superhero is because she doesn't have the speed to go with it. So she can do all these amazing things, but if she's up against someone that's a lot faster than her, she's gonna get fucked hard. And not in a fun way. Mark, get with the redhead. It was way too much fun seeing Mark get a hold of his powers and figure out how to fly and all that. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did, and just seeing him learn how to fly and all his landings, it was just fantastic. Also seeing that he's a teenager and he's a kid and his brain hasn't fully developed and he's gonna make stupid, selfish decisions. You know, his best friend's boyfriend got turned into a freaky cyborg thing. I love that this show genuinely kept you on your toes where you didn't know if a character was gonna get a happy ending or not. You genuinely didn't know, okay, did he just get killed? Did he just get mutilated? Or are they gonna get there in the nick of time? Because honestly, it's 50-50. It could go either way. Cecil, I feel, is my spirit animal. I love somebody that does the dirty work and knows that he does the dirty work and doesn't pretend like he's this amazing, awesome, world-saving individual. It's like Debbie's saying, this is why I've always hated you. And he goes, yeah, that's why I hate me too. He understands what he's doing is really shitty and really awful, but the ends justify the means. He's there just to protect Earth, and if that means some kids gotta die, some kids gotta die. I don't even know how Mark thought he was going to be able to stand up to his dad. I understand he had to try because that's the whole, oh, look at me, I'm a hero thing. Somebody that's been a warrior for thousands of years versus you who has your powers for like a year. I think you're gonna get your shit kicked in. I'm actually really afraid if Nolan brings back more of his people and then it's game over. So they obviously need to come up with a better plan. I'm excited to see Mark go to the coalition of planets and work with them. And I think as of right now, they haven't announced season 2, but there's no way with the reception it's gotten that they don't do a season 2. Can you imagine? So the aliens that came where their dimension, time went by much differently. So they aged rapidly when they came to Earth. And then when Omni-Man went through the portal and just started wrecking their planet. So the time for him was like the space of one night? But what happened on their planet was weeks or months of him just wrecking everything of their society. Imagine someone like, I don't know, Superman coming to our Earth or existing on our Earth and just spending months going to cities and just devastating them and massacring people. That was a really short scene, but also when you really think about it, probably one of the top 10 most fucked up scenes. And again, we watched a father use his son to unwillingly murder a bunch of people. So that's saying a lot. Speaking of teen angst and me just not liking it, I get why Mark kept giving up, but I'm glad that we never focused on it for a long period of time, especially when he was with Adam Eve, and she's like, okay, stand here, or stay here. I'm gonna go do my job and try to protect the Earth. So I'm happy that even when he did the whole emo teenager stuff, it was for a very short amount of time. Okay, I didn't write a script for this. I'm just kind of talking from my brain thoughts, so I don't know if I missed anything big to talk about. So if I did, you can let me know in the comment section down below. Like, subscribe, and actually let me know if you like this series or not, what you would rank it. Would you give it like a straight 10 out of 10? Was it awful? Fantastic? Somewhere in between? Not your cup of tea? Absolutely your cup of tea? You don't like tea? I don't know. Just share your thoughts on it down below.